So I've never done anything like this before, but I've been encouraged um to to voice um, my story. So um, I decided to do it, and here it goes. And hopefully you'll like it. And if not, it's okay because it belongs to me anyway. Um, as you know, today is February 13th, and it's the day before Valentine's Day. I know people are probably out getting, roses and candy and jewelry and all this other stuff for their loved ones. As you can see, those of you that have gone to the store, the endless amount of roses and flowers that are there, for the person that you love. Um, it's a different time of the year, a loving time, so to speak. But today, obviously, is the day before Valentine's Day. So tomorrow, February 14th, will be the day in which people are displaying their affection for their significant other. But today is the day that is important to me. Um, February 13th, 2013, is the day that I was sentenced to 15 years in prison in Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Um, it was not a surprise. It was something that I deserved. I committed a felony, and I understood the repercussions of that action, of those choices that I made. Um, According to my lawyer, he didn't think that we were going to get 15, so we were kind of surprised by that. But at that moment when the judge told me that the jury had sentenced me to 15 years, I was at a complete loss, and I didn't know um, what to do. I had no control. I was handcuffed by the bailiff, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen to my family, to my loved ones. I just knew that I wasn't going home, um, and I didn't know for how long. All I kept thinking about was 15 years, 15 years, 15 years. What's going to happen? I'm going to be 50 years old when I get out. What am I going to do? What are they going to do? Just an endless amount of questions. So you can be rest assured that Valentine's Day, the next day, had a little bit different meaning for me. And from then on out, I really wasn't too encouraged by Valentine's Day because it obviously brought the reminder of my incarceration. However, you can't have a testimony without going through a test, and obviously, if you've ever been in any kind of trouble with the law, if you've ever been incarcerated, you know that that's a test. And it's not just for those that are lawbreakers like myself. It's for people that have been tested through tough times in their marriage, or tested through, a bad medical diagnosis, or tested through job loss, or loss of a loved one. There's many tests that we go through, in our lives, and it's not limited by any means to being incarcerated. That just happens to be a major test that was part of my life. But I'll tell you this: at the moment that I was put into a holding cell in Dallas County Jail, by myself, waiting to go into a maximum security pod, you know, I came to encounter the Lord at that time, and I know a lot of people um, are are hesitant to accept people that come to this so-called jailhouse religion, and that's fine, and I understand. because there are people that set a bad example and say that they're following after the Lord and their actions prove different. But I know for me personally, it was time for me to let go. It was time for me to surrender in more ways than one. Everything that I thought was good, my best planning, got me 15 years in prison. So I figured out that it's time to do something different. And I surrendered control to God, and I challenged God, to be honest with you. As I said, if you're all powerful and almighty, then let's see what you can do with the mess that I've made of my life and the life of my family and things of that nature. So at that moment, I picked up the Bible and I wanted to know everything I could about God and about Jesus and what this whole thing was about. Obviously, I a little backstory. I went to a Catholic private school, but I was just there to play football. I wasn't there to learn anything about religion or anything like that. I didn't really care for that too much. But I wanted to know now. I had prayed before, obviously, and I believed that there was a God, but I didn't know who God was, and I wanted to be devoted to learning about Him, to knowing and understanding who He was, and how I could turn my life around. And the only way that I could do that was by allowing Him to do it. It just doesn't make sense to want to be so in control, but the only way to be in control is to let go of control. It's one of those paradoxes of Christianity that unless you go through it, you just don't understand. So I gave up. While my freedom was taken away from me, I gave up my liberty, so to speak, of myself to God, because I wanted Him to be in control, and I wanted to learn how to walk in His ways and how to be the person and the man and the husband and the father that I should be, because obviously sitting in a courtroom and getting sentenced to 15 years in prison isn't a good example for anybody. For the next 5.5 years, I spent my entire time, dedicated to the Lord. I've come to the conclusion that your discipline is based upon what you desire. And a real world example of that, for those of you that follow sports, look at Tom Brady. I know that there's probably some that can't stand the man and hate him and all this and that, but just from the simple aspect of what he does as a football player, the man wants to win Super Bowls. He doesn't want to win 12 games. He doesn't want to be the best quarterback. He doesn't want to throw 50 touchdowns. The man wants to win a Super Bowl, and that's his desire every single year, is to win the Super Bowl. And if you look at his life, just the aspect of his dedication and his discipline to winning a Super Bowl. Those of you that are familiar, he's got a very strict diet regimen and very disciplined on what he does and practicing and how his drive and determination and all these things, because he desires to win a Super Bowl. So every single thing that he does from the time he wakes up is a discipline to achieving this goal that he desires. And if you desire after the Lord, your dedication to that discipline will be influenced by that desire. It starts at the very beginning of the day, whenever you wake up. And if you are truly seeking after the Lord, then you'll give thanks, because every day is not promised. I'm sure that there are many of you that have lost loved ones um, in some form or fashion. Those of you that have probably recently lost loved ones with what's going on in the world and in regards to COVID and things like that. So you know that every day isn't guaranteed, and it really is a gift. So if for me personally, I'm seeking after the Lord, and the Lord is my desire, then the moment I wake up, I'm going to be dedicated. I get up early, and it's a discipline, and it's something that I started whenever I was incarcerated. I got up early because it was quiet, and I could really be devoted to spending time with the Lord. I used to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, I know you guys get up early for breakfast and things like that, but even whenever I didn't go to breakfast, or whatever the case may be, I was up seeking after the Lord early, and it's something that I've carried over to today. I get up at 3:15, and it's because of the discipline that was established while I was incarcerated. Some people say, well, it's because you're institutionalized, and maybe that's right. I don't know, but it's a choice that I make. I very well can choose to stay in bed and to choose to stay underneath those covers, especially now when it's cold and it's warm in that bed. But I choose to get up because my desire is to seek after the Lord, and desiring to know Him, and being disciplined and following and reading His Word. Guys, that Bible, the Bible says that it's living, and it really is, because you can read that thing 100 times and you'll get something different out of it every single day. It applies differently every single day. That's one of the greatest things about His Word is how much it is so relevant into so many different aspects of your life, throughout so many different seasons of your life. You can read the same verse and it means something different today, and it'll mean something different in 2 years, and it'll mean something different in 10 years. So just being disciplined in reading the Word, and so many people get frustrated because, well, I don't read the Bible enough, or how much are you supposed to read? And there's no set limit. You'll know some days you make time to read it for an hour. Some days you can only make time to read it for 15 minutes. And it's not an issue of, well, God's mad at me today because I only read the Bible for 5 minutes, I only read one chapter, I only read a couple of verses. I don't believe personally that that's the God that we serve. I think that if you have a heart that is desiring after the Lord, that all the things that you do will show your dedication. You get up, you read the Word, you work out or whatever, you go to work, you come home, but you can be dedicated and disciplined all throughout the day. Whether it's being able to listen to praise and worship music, whether it's being able to go and pray, at your, at lunch or something like that, whether it's being able to testify and fellowship with people at work. You shouldn't have to tell people that you are a follower of Christ. They should know by your actions. They should know by the things that come out of your mouth. At no point do I ever push my beliefs on anybody. But if you ask me about them, I'll tell you. But you'll come to find by what I say and how I do, that I am in fact a follower of Jesus Christ, because my desire is to be pleasing to Him, then all of the things that I do are influenced by that desire. All of my disciplines, a lot of people ask me, why are you so disciplined in this? Why are you so disciplined in that? And it's because, for me personally, if our Lord and Savior, our Messiah, the King of Kings, can be disciplined enough to go to the cross and die for me, then I can be disciplined enough to live for Him. It's very simple. So, sometimes we make it out to be much harder than that, and it really is easy. It's a choice. It's something that you have to choose every single day. It doesn't matter the circumstance or situation or where you are. I was again incarcerated for 5.5 years, and I chose to follow God every single day, even in the days whenever, I got denied parole, even in the days whenever my family was in the hospital, even days when I had no money and the phone didn't work and all, you didn't get letters and stuff like that. All those days, it didn't matter, because I believed and I trusted that God was true to what His word says, that God was going to uplift me out of the miry clay, because He already had. Even though I was still in prison, He saved me and rescued me, and I was more free in there than I had ever been outside of there. And it didn't matter where I was, how many more years I had left to do. All that stuff didn't matter. My outlook was going to remain the same, because at the end of the day, how do I know that Jesus isn't going to come back? How do I know that those trumpets aren't going to sound? Am I prepared? Am I living my life dedicated to His return? Because He's going to come back. I believe that. And there's no way that you can be a follower or believe without believing that. So that's just, for me personally, that's just how I chose to live my life. And it wasn't perfect, and it's not going to be perfect. But the pursuit of perfection, the preparation for that pursuit is what's important. You're not going to go out and get out and everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's just not how it works. It doesn't work like that, whether you've been out for a day or whether you've been out for 10 years. Because there's always challenges, there's always temptation, whether it's for those of us that are on parole still, whether it's those people that are on probation, whether it's those people that just live a normal life every single day. There are temptations every single day for all of us. And whether we are prepared to face those temptations and prepared to take the way of escape that the Lord provides is so important, and it's going to be based upon the preparation that we do every single day. On the easy days, on the less stressful days, are you going to take advantage of those days that you have, or are you just going to go through the motions? You don't. Those of you that have ever played sports or anything like that, you don't get better going out to practice and just going through the motions. You have to have a purpose for the practice. And I hope that in the midst of you practicing following the Lord every single day now, that your purpose is to continue to follow the Lord whenever you get out. Because it's easy for us to do these things, and I think this is why so many people have a negative connotation towards those of us that find Christ in prison, is because, yeah, hey, great, when you're in prison, you follow after the Lord, yeah, God is good all the time God's good, but whenever you get out, you're right back into the things that you were doing before, if not worse. So prepare now for whenever you get out. prepare now every single day for whenever those difficult and temptation times come. Because if you don't, there's a chance that you're going to stumble. There's a chance that you're going to fail. And we all stumble in some way. But I'll tell you this, as a former coach, I used to put a lot of pressure on my guys in practice. I wanted them to undergo the most stressful situations in practice. That way, when they face them in the games, it was easy. It was something that they had seen before. And we could correct those mistakes in practice, as opposed to having to correct them in a game, which could cause us to lose. So while we're practicing every single day, we've got an opportunity to correct our mistakes. We've got an opportunity to be prepared for those most stressful situations. That way, in this game that they call life, we really can be successful. So, remain encouraged, remain steadfast. I know it's difficult. Every day is difficult, but every day is a blessing, and every day really is an opportunity for us to glorify God, for us to demonstrate our discipline of our desire for Him. So my hope for you is that somehow this encourages just one of you, because I've been where you are, and I know what you're going through, and I just want you to know that whether you've got 6 months left or 60 years, it doesn't matter, because what does matter is your dedication to the Lord, and He will give you the peace that surpasses all understanding, regardless of your situation, regardless of where your residence is, whether it's in 107B in the E dorm like mine was, whether it's in Dallas, Texas, in Highland Park. It doesn't matter where our state in life is, where we live at. All that matters is that we are focused on serving the Lord, seeking after the Lord, and being dedicated to desiring to know Him and to love Him and to love others as He loves us. Love you guys, and hope to see you guys soon.